BarbacoaCore, a podcast network.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for checking out a new episode of the BarbacoaCore Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Huerta. Today, I am joined by my buddy via Zoom chat, Zoom meeting, whatever the fuck these things are called. Joey Smith, what's going on, man?
What's up, bro? I'm pretty much
like
over.
That energy?
I'm pretty much over this Zoom shit. I would have come over if it got to that point.
I love this shit, dude. I think I'm gonna run this. Well, I'm using it because I accidentally forgot to cancel the month, and so they charge for the month. So I was like, fuck it, I guess I'll keep doing it. But I love this shit, dude. I don't know if I would go back. I know people would prefer me going back. I prefer to do the podcast live, which I'll probably get back into that stuff. But like this, we're recording on Zoom meeting, but we both have our individual recorders. I'm on a Zoom 6, you're on a Tascam. I fucking love that shit. Technology, man.
Yeah.
Laziness and technology are like my homies.
Yeah.
So I'm digging this shit for sure. But cool, man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. It's I feel like the COVID stuff, everyone decided it was over, and it's over.
It's over.
Yeah. Universally, everyone's done with it, and
that's nice.
Yeah.
At least we agree on something. we can all agree that COVID's over. Let's loot. Let's burn down the place.
COVID's over and fuck 12, and that's where the whole world's at right now.
Yeah, dude. Plugs. Let's get before we jump into it. Plugs, social media, anything you got going on.
No.
What do you got?
Mainly just follow me on Instagram under thejoeysmith9000. You can also follow me on Instagram under OneBadComic. That's a bit that I'm doing. I'm gonna make it work. I just always plug One Bad Comic with everything, and
yeah,
cause fuck him. But
you're already making enemies before you get out of quarantine. You're gonna make enemies, huh?
No, he made an enemy at Elbow Room, man. He started it.
Really? What happened? I don't hear about this. You want to talk about this?
I don't give a shit. He was hosting at Elbow Room one time, and I had to leave. And I was like, "Hey, man, I've been waiting here for an hour. You've just kind of been jumping all over the list. Could you do me a solid? And could I hop on there, please? I'd really appreciate it." And he was like, "Where are you at on the list?" And I was like, "I think I'm pretty close to last." And he goes, "Well, then you got to go last." And I was like, what? He had let the person before me and after me go up already in the time that I was waiting. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just kind of laughed in his face and left. And then Tori said something on Facebook about Elbow Room because she knew that had happened. And then Irma was messaging me and was like, what happened? I told her the whole story. She's like, well, you just let me know next time. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Oh, that shitty thing. I think that's why these online Zoom open mics are going to take off, because nobody likes to go out. Nobody likes to go out early to sign up. Nobody likes to wait. I mean, I haven't done it yet because I just haven't. But I know that they're popping, man. I know a lot of people are fucking doing that shit. Didn't you have an online show or Twitch show this past weekend? Or this past week?
We did an off-the-cuff practice, and it was...
oh, okay.
It's something that they're thinking about doing, an online show and, inviting people to watch and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of fun because it was on a Google Meet, and those, you can have up to 100 people in the room. And it was just cool. There was, instant feedback and communication, and when someone wasn't doing well, we were heckling them, and
so you could heckle, you could hear the people.
Yeah, dude, it was just a big hangout with 14 people in it, and we were laughing, and when someone was doing good, we were fucking cracking up, and when other people were doing bad, we were like, oh, he's Googling his jokes, just talking shit to him, but it was fun, man. It was definitely that same feeling of being in front of people and making yourself vulnerable, as opposed to when you watch a lot of these open mics online where they'll tell a joke and then they'll just kind of stare at the camera like they're waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, waiting for a response.
Yeah.
So the off the cuff, how that works for anybody who doesn't know, Does it work the same way as it did as the Tiger, where they give you a topic and you have a meeting to riff on it and stuff?
Yeah, we used like an app that had like spinner wheels on it. So it was like spin to see who goes up next, and then spin to see the topic as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that idea. And then you have a minute to try to make something funny out of it. How'd you do? Like, were you rusty? Like, were you good to go? Were you funny? Did you burn it down?
I was pretty rusty. Like, I'm pretty rusty as far as trying to make my views funny, because it's just kind of been for the last 3 months of like, the world's ending, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's been my thought process, and it still kind of is to an extent, but it was nice after the first topic. The first topic, it was no good for me, and then the second one was like benefits of quarantine or something, and I was like, well, shit, this is easy. And you know, because I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I can just order food all the time without being a piece of shit. Like, no one's judging me. It's like, I'm supporting local business. Get the fuck off my back. And you know, not having to wear pants to work is great, and just stuff like that. And so that was fun to kind of just naturally riff on. And then the third one was like ghosts, and I just like talked about how Breckle looks like a ghost, and and I like asked him a question, and then he went to answer me, and I was like, nobody talks to ghosts, shut the fuck up. And so it was just a good time, man. More than anything, it was great.
Yeah, I do like that. Like, for the first couple of weeks, I didn't talk to anybody. It was just me and my wife, and then working from home and all that stuff. And then I started missing that stuff. I started missing like the Zoom chats and all that stuff. It really made a big difference. I think we were in the first rounds of like, we were just hanging out. We weren't recording or podcasting or anything. Mm-hmm. We were just hanging out, right?
Yeah.
Having a good time, catching up. And then after that after we hung up, we all said our goodbyes and stuff, like that whole like, I miss my friends type of thing kind of set in and shit, which was kind of shitty. But I love these online stuff, man. I love it. I don't like going anywhere, and I don't think I'm going to be doing comedy. Like, Texas, San Antonio's opening up. They're already doing shows. They got shows lined up this weekend. Or starting like 2 weeks ago, right? Was the first time they had a show at LOL?
Yeah, it's been like 2 or 3. Ever since the 17th, it's kind of been like wheels off as far as rules.
Yeah, like they opened up with phase one. They're saying that they're a restaurant, so they could do that 25% capacity and all that stuff. And by the way, we serve food and we have comedy, so they kind of like went into that thing as far as like opening up as a comedy club. They're like, no, we're a restaurant that has comedy. But yeah, man, like, I'm glad it's coming back. I'm glad people are going out and doing that stuff. I don't think I'm gonna do anything until July. I just want to see what it's gonna look like, what the crowds are like, and are you eager to get back at it?
I'm eager, but I'm trying to play it smart at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything that's happening right now is still gonna happen in 2 weeks. So, you know, I think your point of view is smart, and I think it's okay to be cautious. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm kind of in the same boat as you as far as being a little bit cautious. You know, my wife's a nurse, and she has a patient with a compromised immune system, so I have to take that into account. And, you know, I can't be that selfish and just kind of be like, well, the people at Jokesters need to hear about my dead dad. It's important. Like, it's just, that's not the truth. And it's Jokesters is going to be there until you know, they stop paying their bills again. So
yeah, they had their first show this weekend, and apparently it had to be outside, which is kind of rough. I wasn't there. Like, again, I don't go out. I haven't done any dine-in or nothing like that. Not ready to get outside and face it. And honestly, dude, like, nothing fits me. Like, all like my basketball shorts, and that's it. My jeans don't button, and so. Yeah, I'm not presentable. I can't go on stage with basketball shorts. Or maybe that'll be my thing, you know, the basketball short comedian. Yeah,
so I have 2 pairs of basketball shorts. I have a pair that my wife bought me, like, when she was like, hey, you've been wearing the same basketball shorts for like every day for like 2 months now. And so I have those, which are starting to not fit, which is scary. And then I have the other ones, which they're like Philadelphia Eagles basketball shorts. And I've had those since, like, my dad was in chemo, and we would wear, like, matching ones whenever he'd go do his chemo shit. So, like, they're super important to me, and I wear them all the time. And like the elastic is like it put in its 2-week notice essentially because like I'll put my phone in my pocket and the shorts are just like, yo, we can't do this anymore. They start sliding and I'm like, fuck, man. So
yeah, I had the most depressing day the other day where my wife should just put out all my pants and she goes, I need you to go through all this stuff and what doesn't fit we're gonna donate and you know all that stuff. I cried, dude. I only out of like 10 pairs of pants, like I only have 2 that button.
Damn,
and
man.
it's very painful. It's very painful to get those buttoned too. So yeah. So Goodwill, like with A1, they got a lot of my pants.
They got some good pants.
They got some good pants.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you, man, but like the thing with me and pants is like if I were to ever go pants shopping with someone, like we're getting in an argument 100%. And it's not anything that you say. It's just that, like, I'm so down on myself. You could be like, the sky's blue, and I'm like, why don't you keep your fucking opinion to yourself, all right? Because I'm not having a good day. And so that's hard for me. So I definitely empathize with you there.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. It's pretty depressing, and I gotta lose weight, but I'm not gonna. I'm fucking gaining weight. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying not having to present myself to anybody. You know, I'm gonna start one of those TV shows, a 600-pound, or be a contestant on one of those 600-pound life and stuff. I'm looking forward to it, man. I got to work on something else. Comedy didn't work out for me. I mean, I gave it 2 years. I gave it a strong, a half a year.
Yeah, you gave it a strong 6 months.
Gave it a strong 6 months. You know, things were taking off, and then COVID happened. And I was like, you know what? Let's try something else. So now I'm gonna be one of those weight gainers. You know, losing weight is all a fad. It's all about gaining weight. I'm gonna bring that back. Gaining weight and get a TV show.
I mean, San Antonio does need at least one comic who just doesn't stop talking about how fat he is. So, it could be you, man. It could, and you know, I respect that because you're picking a lane and you're sticking to it.
I have to do it for the art because I did shows where I would do fat jokes and people. It rarely happens where people would come up to me after a show and say anything. But the past 2 times, the last 2 shows that I had a lady come up to me and go, you know, you're not that fat. And so I'm proving her wrong. I was like, you know what? If you think I'm not fat enough, I'll show you fat enough. And so I'm doing it for the art, you know. I'm doing it for the jokes.
Yeah. Well, you're committing to the bit, and you're also telling her, like, what the fuck do you know about comedy? And that's what I respect, is you're calling her out for not knowing shit about shit.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do with my life. Don't tell me what to do with my jokes. Shit, man. But how have you been writing? Are you ready to get on stage? Do you have any new stuff you've been working on?
I mean, and so we're all on that group chat. So just kind of the stuff that I've been messaging you, and more than anything, I think that 2 things have happened in this. One being that I don't care anymore, which is great. And 2...
Where'd you get that from? Like, what made you decide to stop caring?
Because, like, look at how quickly this got taken away, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 1 minute we're afraid to go do an LOL showcase because someone, the wrong person might see us do, or, like, the right person might see us do the wrong joke. And we're worried about that. And, you know, in all reality, we're doing it in a bright-ass room with 20 people in it. Maybe 20 people, we're lucky. And, like, and we're worried about some stupid shit. But, you know, then the next day it's like, hey, there's a fucking pandemic and the club will not be open for a while. And it's just like, oh, I wish I would have taken that chance. Like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of been a big thing for me. And I texted Jay not too long ago, and I was like, man, now that the crowds are going to be so small for such a long time, you know, I think taking chances is going to be really relieving. And he texted me back and was like, dude, the crowds have always been small. And I was like, that hurt, but true.
Yeah.
So,
how do you think things are going to be at the Tiger? The Tiger's going to be a hard place to get people to come into. You know, because it's underground. It's a cellar or a basement, whatever.
Yeah, and well, I think there's two sides to that, and I think that getting people in there is going to be kind of the issue on the back end, and maybe for the end of the year kind of stuff. That's what we're going to be struggling with, and I think in the beginning, it's you know, we're inside of a restaurant that has its own laws and its own rules and regulations that it has to follow and adapt to, and it's still not even open. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, fuck, man, like, I'm not worried about getting people in there. I'm worried about getting the green light to actually go in there. So
True. Yeah. I saw this thing for the Rock Box. The Rock Box is a concert venue, whatever, and they're trying to open up. They have a show going on this week or next week, but they have all these guidelines. Now, if you've ever been to a rock show, it is impossible to follow those guidelines. No groups bigger than 6 people. You got to wear your mask, to get inside. Wear your mask when you're walking around the club. You can only have your mask off when you're at your table, which at a rock venue, there's like 4 tables.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's like 4 tables for like 200 people.
Yeah, so how are you going to like tell people, okay, this is where you stand? Unless they have like circles, like little circles, like cattle circles, like on the floor, like this is where you stand. No, 6 feet apart. This is where you stand, 6 feet apart. No moshing. And this is a rock club. These are rock shows that is going on. And I'm just like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, just cancel. It's gonna be a horrible thing, or it's gonna be total chaos. Like, fuck the rules.
Yeah. Which is super rock and roll. If they were to be like, fuck the rules.
True. Yeah. But I don't know, like stuff like that just makes me nervous. Like I don't understand the point of opening up if it's just like that. There's restaurants, yes, because you can, be separate from your party and all that stuff. But a concert, like how are you going to keep people away? How are you going to keep people? Like people are going to be walking all around, going to the bar. It's ridiculous. It's going to be like a clusterfuck of just people sweating on each other.
Well, I don't know, man. And you have to remember that with like shows like that, there's not seating, and everybody wants the best seat in the house. Like they want to be right there in front of the crowd, and so how are you gonna be like, hey, don't enjoy this, don't get as close as you want.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what makes shows half the time. It's like I'm gonna fucking push my way to the front.
Yeah.
And then someone's gonna push their way in front of me, and like it's gonna be a cycle, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. That's the fun part of it. Getting other people's blood, sweat, and tears on you, and getting your blood, sweat, and tears on other people. Like that was the fun part of fucking getting to concerts. Never did I ever think, oh no, this is germs. Like, that was never a concern at a rock show. And now it's gonna be like with mask and like, oh no, you're too close to me. I can't enjoy the music.
Yeah, well now every rock concert is gonna be like a basketball game with Magic Johnson in it. Like it's just gonna be. It's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
So that's kind of. What are you drinking?
White Claw, watermelon White Claw.
I'm
on a diet.
That's a good. I'm on the black cherry Bud Light.
See, but those have gluten in them.
Oh.
I can't fuck with gluten. I get the sneezes when I drink gluten. Which is such a fucking pussy thing, dude.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's some beers. Like I really like. I'm not like a beer snob or anything. I'll drink anything. Like if I go to like a craft bar, like I'll just go for the highest alcohol content. Like, oh, just give me that, and then they'll give you like a little baby cup. I was like, I came here to be a man, and I got a sippy cup.
And it turns out to just be like black coffee that tastes like whiskey, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah. And then like they limit it. You can only have 2. I was like, well, fuck this. I paid $14 for this shit. But yeah, like Miller Lite. Sometimes like my gluten allergy fluctuates. Like sometimes it's intense, sometimes it's not. And I'll have 2 beers and then I'll just have sneeze attacks. I was like, oh, this is fucking gluten.
So sneezing is the only thing that gluten does to you?
To me, yeah. Yeah, and I don't even know if that's the gluten. I'm just making the joke of it because I've tried those Bud Light seltzers ones. Very tasty, but gluten.
Man. Well, see, the reason I got them is because at Sam's Club they have a 24-pack for like, I think it's $20.
Oh, nice.
And the 12-pack is $15. So I was like, oh yeah, let me get on that.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I've been fucking with the seltzers and liquor. And then I try to take it easy. I was like, no more liquor. And then I'll just drink beer, and then I get the sneezies.
And then you're like, all right, maybe I'll do like 1 liquor.
Yeah. That's another thing too. Like that's what I need comedy to come back, or just need a distraction to come back, because I've been drinking a lot, like every day, a lot.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Because I wasn't drinking when I had stuff. Because alcohol, I don't know if this is for everybody, but alcohol makes me lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else is there to do but to drink and be lazy, you know?
Yeah. Well, when I take a really deep breath, I get super lazy. So I'm just kind of... I'm just kind of always a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah. I can't breathe. It makes me lazy. That's funny. Shit, man. So now that Texas is the only place, I think Florida's having shows or Arizona is having shows, but Texas is going to be hit pretty hard with a lot of touring comics coming in and shit.
Yeah. Well, don't say it like it's a bad thing, but...
Well, I don't know if it's... Well, they're not coming here per se. Like, man, I would love to go. I think Mark Norman's going to Addison. And I would love to see that guy, but I don't want to drive 5 hours.
When is it?
This week or next weekend.
Oh, fuck. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to...
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, I'm glad it's opening up and stuff, but I don't know. I haven't tried comedy outside of San Antonio yet.
Yeah.
So I would like to do that maybe this year. Well, that was the plan for this year, and then, you know, COVID.
Well, you've done some of the valley towns, haven't you?
Yeah, I did McAllen, but I wanted to, and then I did Laredo, but like Houston or Dallas.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do Abilene and then San Angelo, canceled. So that sucks. I was supposed to go to Fort Worth, but I said no because my job wouldn't give me the time off.
Well,
so I was making it. I was getting out there, but...
Dude, I'm down to go hit some other towns. The only thing that sucks about like going with a group of people is you're like helping with like travel, but you're also hurting yourself because if there's like a group of 4 new guys there and nobody knows who the fuck you are, it's just like, okay, these are some assholes from the office, and they're you know what I mean, like they all jerk each other off at the water cooler all day, and they're like, you gotta do stand up, and they just like. It just like revolves around the 4 of them all day. So
yeah.
And like in Fort Worth, when you go to the open mic, they make the list. Like you sign up, and they're like, "That's nice," and then they put you somewhere. So like they 4
They'll rearrange the order.
Yeah, there's no order when you sign up. You just sign up saying like, "I would like to go up," and then they're like, "Oh, cool,"
okay.
And they fucking put you somewhere. So if they don't know who you are, well, all 4 of you are going at 2 a.m. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So we have a buddy that's gonna check out our new scene. I don't know if he wants us to put it on blast, so we'll just say a buddy. So that's cool, man. He's pretty excited about it, you know. And I'm a little jealous. I mean, I'm hoping that he does well. I'm hoping all the best, and maybe we'll go check him out once he gets his feet established and whatnot. But have you ever thought about like checking out a different scene besides San Antonio?
So I've done an open mic in DFW. And that was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of friends out there, mainly Tony and Sal, and those are great dudes. And they come down here, and it's nice to go up there and see them because it's like, you know, they come down here, they come to the Tiger, they show us love, they're pushing us on social media because they have family down here and stuff, and then, you know, to go up there and kind of see them in their element, and even it's just so cool to be involved in another scene, even when it's little things like, oh, this is where we park for the open mic. Like, it's just cool to like know the inside stuff, and I love that. I love the Dallas comedy scene, man. They have so many clubs there, and you know, there's 2 different major clubs there with different owners, and each one of those has like 3 different ones. So, you know, you're talking about 6 major clubs there. And then there's a ton of restaurants and bars that do open mics and shit. So Dallas is a ton of fun. I would love to check out Houston sometime.
Yeah, man. Houston has the Secret Group, which was one of the first clubs that started opening up. I hear a lot of good things about them. A lot of people talk about the Secret Group. Like you listen to other people podcasts from like New York or LA, and they're always showing love for the Houston Secret Group. Yeah,
well, and that's also because it's run by comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's important, and they run it right, and so that's I would love to go there. And then I you know, we live down the street from Austin, so I think that we need to go check that out sometime, and if nothing else, become the Luke Maldens of Austin and just, you know, get banned. So
yeah, man. I like the whole thing with the world shutting down and all that stuff has changed my perspective, because like not only am I lazy in life, I was lazy in comedy. Like I didn't want to drive out to a show or drive out to a mic and all that stuff, and I'm realizing like you're really not taking advantage of things that are there to take advantage of.
Yeah.
You know, like Austin is not that far away. It is not that far away, and there was times where I was driving to Austin for concerts. And I just got tired of that, man. The last time I went to a concert in Austin, I almost got in a fight. And I was like, and it was at Survivor. You ever heard like was it Survivor? The guys that did the soundtrack for Stranger Things, Survive, I think. And which is a real chill, not aggressive music. And this dude wanted to fight me, you know.
For what? He was like, I don't like your bald head.
Nah, he was dancing crazy. Like he was on something. He was dancing crazy, and he kept bumping into me and my wife.
Yeah.
And because we were pretty close, and the first couple of times I was like, dude, okay, watch what you're doing, all that stuff. And then he was aggressively doing it on purpose. And so finally I grabbed him and I fucking like started shaking him like on his back.
Like a baby?
And I was like, dude, yeah, like I was like, dude, I told you, fucking knock it off. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. And then he fucking walks away. And then, but everybody's just like saw me do it. And I guess they didn't see the buildup of it. And I'm a big guy. I've always been a big guy. I'm a big guy in like the Austin student, kid scene or whatever. So I stand up like just like an aggressive asshole. So nobody saw what led up to that. They just saw me do that, and everybody just kind of like the circle around me just like widened.
Yeah.
And I was like, awkward, dude.
Well,
and I could.
The unfortunate thing about that is I've been in like not necessarily that exact situation, but I've been around that a lot, and it's unfortunate that in certain music scenes, like they'll assume your aggression just based off of like the color of your skin and your size.
Yeah.
So like, and I've seen that firsthand. Where it's like, oh, this huge Mexican dude's beating up this little white kid, and it's like, yeah, but like that little white kid was hardcore dancing and kicked his pregnant wife. Like you didn't see that part.
Yeah, they didn't see that part. They just saw me react and stuff, and then it was like, oh no, person of color. So yeah, I didn't like the way that was. And then just the drive back, you can't really party too hard, you can't drink too much because you gotta drive back and all that stuff. But like there's things that like I just wouldn't do because I was like, oh no, it's just I don't have time for it, I'm too lazy. But now that the whole thing shut down, like I don't want to make excuses anymore to not do things.
Yeah,
I want to start going to more shows, start getting more involved with the comedy scene. I want to start playing drums again, start playing music again. Like I just want to do all this stuff after 3 months of being just locked indoors.
Yeah.
The only problem is I am not ready to go out into the world. I built it up. These 3 months have made me agoraphobe. So I'm just afraid of people, afraid to like to go out in public.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I get over that, I'm gonna be all over the place.
Yeah.
But
or
first
so
things
you
first.
say.
So I say. Like I'm so like amped up to do all these things. I just need to be okay to do outdoor things.
Yeah. And I think that once other people are doing it more often, like and you see it, like you'll get FOMO really hard, and you'll be like, fuck man, I'm gonna go do this, and like it's easy to ignore everyone else's patterns at first, and then you're just like, well fuck, why am I not there? And a lot of people, you got to remember, it's like 19 days before symptoms start to show themselves. Yeah. And they just opened up like 15, 17 days ago, somewhere around there. So I mean, it's not even been 19 days from opening. So this could all fall back apart instantly. So
yeah, I know, that's so scary. And people were just talking about like, oh, well, the next wave is going to be that so much more intense. I was like, what's the next wave? Like, is this coming back? Do we know? Are we just guessing? Like, everybody's just so afraid of the world, and I'm just like, I don't want to. I know people that don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah.
And I am so jealous of that. Like, I don't want to like call anybody out. Like, if we go out in a group, we'll still like social distance or try our best to social distance. And there are people that just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so we were hanging out with some people, and out of nowhere, after an hour of hanging out with them, they're like, oh yeah, well my daughter. His coworker just tested positive for COVID-19.
Fucking idiots.
And I was like, what are you doing here? Like, what? You should all just be at home until she gets her test results back. Thankfully, she tested negative, or she it was negative for that COVID test because she took it because she was around a coworker that did it. But they just didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck, and I was like, I want that so bad, because I hold my breath. Like if we go to HEB to the store, I'll hold my breath in the aisles. Like don't breathe on me, don't breathe out, don't breathe in. Because I'm just so afraid of people, and I'm so jealous of the people who aren't.
Yeah, I can
you
see that.
People online, like people hanging out, like online. You'll see stuff, and I'm just like, that's so dangerous. I want to have that like option. Like I wish I wasn't such a fucking pussy, but.
It's funny how people standing close together is like your version of a cool guy walking away from an explosion. You know what I mean? Like you're just that's so badass. It's just like they're just standing there and they're like, what?
Did you see how cool that high five was?
Oh shit.
Oh man. But I wish I had that, and I've always been a person that worries a lot, which sucks. And like I just wish I was more punk rock when it comes to this. Like, they can't tell me what to do. Like, I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to go give hugs. I'm going to go do whatever, not give a shit. And I'm just like, don't sneeze at me.
Were you raised to be afraid of things?
Yeah, I guess. My biggest thing when I was a kid was just to go unnoticed. Mm-hmm. If anybody noticed me, I was in trouble. So yeah, I tried to I was afraid of just getting noticed, afraid of getting in trouble and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the more paranoid I get. I've become more paranoid since I got married, because it's not just me anymore. Like now I got to worry about my wife, and it sucks, dude. Like I could be careless, like do shit that you're not supposed to do, because it's just me. If any consequences, it's just on me. But now, like, I'm just so worried. My wife, she's gone back to work, and I'm a wreck. The whole time she's gone, I'm a fucking wreck.
Yeah.
Because I'm so worried now, and it's tough, dude. I want to be hypnotized, like how that guy from Office Space was.
Yeah.
Where he just didn't care about anything. Like
Deeper
I'll sign up for that.
And deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that,
know,
man. Well, I mean, the good thing is you need to just get over it, because your wife is out in the world and she could bring it in at any time. So you just need to accept that and come to terms with that. And she's doing what she has to do, and if she brings it home, then it kind of is what it is. But so you just got to be like, hey, man, like that kind of gives you an excuse to be like, hey, you can't be mad at me for going and doing mics, because like you're out making a living, like I got to go tell people about eating ass, it's important. So I was raised to be afraid of things, though. Like that, my mom was like, be afraid of everything, like 100% of the time.
Oh yeah. So if that just runs in your family, is like your whole family just afraid of everything, or they just put that on you, put that pressure on you?
Yeah, I think it was just because my mom was like, you're my youngest, like, like just this fucking golden child, like nothing can ever happen to you kind of thing. Like, like once I was a freshman in high school and I was hanging out with seniors, and like I felt pretty cool because I had senior friends, you know what I mean? Like none of my other friends had senior friends, and so I was hanging out with these dudes, and they were like, yo, we're going to go fucking camp in the woods. It's this little area in Shirts called the Pits. And so we were going to go camp in the Pits. And so I had to talk my mom into letting me do that over the course of like 2 weeks. And then finally, when she was like, okay, fine, but like she had all these rules, like I had to have a tent. Like, you know how fucking embarrassing that is? That, like, I went camping with 4 dudes, yet I was the only one that had, like, a 1-person tent. Yeah. And they were just like, dude, why are you being like this? Like, what is wrong with you? So, like, I didn't even end up setting it up, but, like, it was just one of those things, like, she made me have it. And then as we were leaving, it was, like, the 4 seniors in my living room and my mom, and she was like, hey, I love you, chew your food. And, like, that was, like, and my friends just looked at me, and they're like, did your mom just fucking tell you to chew your food, dude? And And I was like, dude, I don't know, man. She's retarded. Like, you know, I don't.
Have you ever choked on food before?
No.
Like, where did that come from?
No, in her defense. And thank God my sister was there, because my sister never let her live that down. She's like, Mom, shut the fuck up. You told him to chew it. You told a fucking 15-year-old how to chew his food. Like, shut up. And her defense was, well, you know, like, because we were going to, like, make a campfire and eat, like, hot dogs and, like, campfire food and shit. And she was like, well, you know, like, hot dogs can just get, like, lodged in your throat. And I was like, Mom, nobody's deep-throating a fucking Nathan's hot dog. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, man, that's adorable, man.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
But she was also kind of right, because one of the guys that I went with ended up tripping out on, like, K2 out in those same woods, and he stabbed a person out there.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he was, like, tripping balls, and I guess someone was like, hey, man, are you okay? And he was just like, ah, and just stabbed him in the stomach, and so he did, like, 4 years in prison. And, yeah.
That dude died?
No, he didn't die, but he had to, like, the guy who stabbed him, my buddy from high school, had to go to prison for 4 years.
For assault?
Yeah, or, like, attempted murder or something like that. But he was like, dude, I was fucking high on a drug that's now illegal, because it melts your brain, so, yeah.
Yeah. That's so fucking funny. Chew your food.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So are you writing stuff like that? Like you've been talking about like a lot of your family stuff and going back, remembering stories that happened in your past. Like, are you making bits out of this stuff? Like realizing, oh shit, this is fucking ridiculously funny.
Yeah, well, so it's like a mixture of like trying to make a bit out of it, but also just kind of like having, and like I said, like going back to like I don't care stuff.
Yeah.
Part of that is kind of also the feeling of like, okay, it doesn't need to be like joke right now because I'm at an open mic and this is for me. And so like I can go up there and just tell this story and take advantage of technology and record it and be like, okay, these two lines got to laugh. This is what it's about. And like, you know, I can take a week and just tell this 5-minute story 3 or 4 times and be like, okay, I like these couple things out of it, and then kind of go from there. And that's kind of been my mindset on building bits now, and yeah, so writing stuff like that's kind of just been like, oh yeah, this one time this happened, and then trying to just like kind of fit it into a not crazy long story that's going to lose people, and you know, kind of just like how I kind of just chopped that story up to what it was, and that, so like I'd feel comfortable doing shit like that on stage, and it's just like, okay, well it's too long, so what do I need to edit out? And so that's kind of what I meant when I said like I didn't care, as far as like I'm just gonna do whatever I think could work possibly.
No, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I mean, like we maybe we don't all admit it, but we're all kind of concerned about. I mean, we could always say like, oh, I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks, but I think now that needs to be true because it doesn't really matter what a lot of people think. Like you're just trying to like make a set. You're trying to build a set. All that stuff. The thing I like about like, or that you have for your advantage is that you're young in this, so you can still like learn. You can still take more risk. You know, I feel like, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but like for me, we started at the same time, but I'm like 10 years older than you, something like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like there's a sense of urgency. Like I have to be more on top of my game, as opposed to somebody who's younger than me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like I can't take as much risk. Like I have to be on my P's and Q's, as opposed to somebody who's like, oh man, like I'm you know, beat bopping and scatting and just learning all this shit. Like, you know what I mean? So I really like that. I wish I had that mentality as well, to like not give a fuck, not be so concerned of other comics, other open mics judgments.
Yeah.
You know, other open micers judgments.
Well, you also got to remember that, like, if you don't take those chances, like, you never know. Like, yeah, you can work your ass off and write all you want, but, like, you said it yourself earlier, like, you're lazy. And I'm the same way. Like, I'm lazy. So, like, the only way that I will know how to motivate myself is to just not care as much and to truly do what I want to do. Like, I'm not lazy when it comes to playing PlayStation because I like doing that. And so, like, if I go on to do open mics and create online content that I don't have a single good idea when it comes to creating online content. But like, you know, if it were something that I like to do, like I wouldn't be lazy at it. And you know, when it comes to just not giving a shit, I like that. I like not caring. And you know, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like Regis is gonna say something mean to me. Like, oh no.
Yeah, like other people's like what they think of you is like really not as important as we think it is, you know. But yeah, that's definitely the thing. I want to take more chances when open mics start opening up, or when I start going back to open mics, and not just fucking working on building my set and not be too concerned like, or are the comics laughing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always focus on the comics more than I did on the audience, and I think that's a disservice to the audience.
Yeah.
You know, because if they're having a good time, but I'm more concerned about, well, are the comics laughing at what I'm saying? You know, and that was just a fucked up mentality.
Yeah.
But because I always felt like I needed to prove something to them.
Yeah.
To the other open micers in the room, and fuck that, man. Like if the audience is having a good time, I need to roll with them.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna help me build my set. Other comedian, other open micer is not gonna help me as much as that audience is gonna help me.
Yeah, exactly. And those other comics, they might not know what you're going for, you know what I mean? Or they might not be able to get in your head. I will say the only comic that, like, when I was at open mics, like, I would listen for their laughs and just be like, okay, if they laughed, it meant something, was, like, Breckle. Because I could literally go to Breckle and be like, what did you think about X, Y, and Z? And he would have, like, an honest opinion, and he's not going to be like, oh, that was great. He'd be like, yeah, that wasn't it. And I'd be like, okay, yeah. So I did listen for Breckle, and there were times where I was like, yo, fuck this crowd, and I didn't even pay attention to them. So, but, you know, once again, that was also when I was, like, in my head, and I was like, this is my 5-minute set that I'm doing tonight, as opposed to just, like, when you watch George Anthony, man, like, it's, you know, George is so amazing, because you can, like, almost, you don't know if he's thinking of it on the spot, or if he's thinking really, really hard about every single, like, letter that comes out of his mouth, or if he's just, like, rolling with it, and you have no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah, you can't tell. You cannot tell, which is the beauty of it. Like, that's what we all need to be working for, is, like, that whole, like, is this natural? Is this flowing? Does it look like like this is an act up here?
Yeah.
You know? Like, he just goes up and delivers, like, kind of like, oh, what do I want to talk? But he knows what he's doing. Yeah. You know, but he goes up there like he does it, like, it's all just on the spot stuff. It's a beautiful thing, just like the way he does it. Like, the comfort level of these people that have been doing it for 8 and 10 years is I'm so jealous of that, you know, but that just doesn't happen. They've been doing it for years and years and years. So I always gotta understand, like, why, like that, when I'm trying, like, why don't I deliver like that? Well, because I'm 2 years into this shit, you know.
Did I ever tell you about the time that George featured for Andrew Murphy at Jokesters? Dude.
Oh, that's the one that you hosted, right?
Yeah. So I hosted it.
Okay, yeah.
So I did tell you about that?
No, but go ahead.
Okay, so George featured for Murphy, and it was a painful crowd, dude. Like, there was, like, literally 6 people, including Potter and my wife. So, so 4 non-people that don't, like, 4 people that don't know my shit. And so I get up there, and and the guy that worked at Jokesters, I was like, hey, like, is the mic on? And he was like, everything's ready to go for you. And he was kind of sounded annoyed that I, like, even asked him. Yeah. And I was like, all right, so, like, it's already off to a bad fucking start. And then I go up there, and I can hear that the mic's not on. Like, you know when you can hear, like, your vocal cords louder than you can hear the fucking amps? And you just know right away. You're like, this shit's not working. So I kind of just look at him, and I, like, kind of do, like, a hand gesture, like, what the fuck's going on? And he's just like, you're good, it's all working. And I'm like, okay, dude. So I go up there, and I do, like, the most painful 10 minutes of my life. And I even made a joke about, like, have you ever signed up to do something for 10 minutes and, like, 3 minutes in you just wish you were dead? And, like, and like, that got the biggest laugh out of my fucking set. And then George went up there, and he knew the mic wasn't working. And he just, like, literally played with the mic for 24 minutes of just, like, twisting the mic around, like doing this and, like, looking at it and, like, kind of flipping it up and down and playing with the buttons and, like, taking the batteries out. And as he's doing that, he's telling this, like, really elaborate story about his, like, family's pet. and like it's 24 minutes of this, like of just pure fucking not giving a shit, and he was straight up like, you guys don't need this mic, and was just like fucking around with it. And then he was like, hey, I'm gonna go, you know, I think I don't know if he told me he was going a little bit over or if he just ran the light and he didn't even realize he did it, but afterwards Andrew Murphy was like, hey man, this kind of sucks, so I'm gonna do less time because he did more time. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever, I don't care. And so Murphy was supposed to do 45 minutes. He ended up doing like 25, and I don't blame him because it was painful. So, and like he even asked me, he's like, dude, is the mic on? And I was like, no, it's not on. It's like, and he was like, can you get it put on for me? And I was like, yeah, of course, dude. So I had to go like tell the guy, I was like, hey, remember when I asked you if the mic was on? And you said, yeah, and it's not. Can you do the opposite of what you did last time and turn it on? And he was like, oh, and fucking, so he got it turned on. But yeah, man, it was, just George.
That's brutal, dude.
Yeah.
That seems so fucking rough.
Yeah, man, it was painful. But you know, George just being in the moment and telling these 6 people that story that, you know, and he was entertaining himself with the mic. The playing with the mic wasn't for anyone else. It wasn't like a bit or anything. It was like, I'm gonna fuck with this cordless mic for a minute and see what happens while I tell you guys about this dog. And like, dude, it was great. I loved it, man.
Yeah. So George Anthony, he just released an album. Did pretty good, I think. I think he had pretty good numbers from like when he released it and stuff. But so his album was only half an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and it was solid. It was funny. You know, why don't you think, or do you think people should release more albums like that? Like, because everybody's like, they want that hour. An album, comedy album is usually an hour, which never really made sense to me, especially now. Like, society, they don't tune in for an hour, man. Even if you binge watch something, like, you're not really in there 100% that full hour of that show, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that would be, like, a good thing to do, like, to focus on, like, releasing a 15-minute EP of comedy or a 30-minute album of comedy, you know? Do you think that should be like a kind of a game plan or something to like switch it up?
I think I do really like the 30 minutes. I think that's the perfect amount of time in my opinion, because like you got to remember the most watched videos online are around a minute.
Yeah.
So like that already shows you how small the attention span of the human race has gotten, with having, like, you know, instant gratification. Also, oh, I don't know something, let me Google it real quick. Like, it's just instant, boom, right there all the time. So to have someone's attention for an hour without being there with that person and feeling their vibes and emotions, it's hard to keep that attention. But you know, so I think on audio platforms, I think 30 minutes is a fucking fantastic idea. I think we're going to see a lot more 30-minute audios. I think when it comes to a full video premiere, I think we'll see like Netflix specials. I think it's going to stay an hour, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot more 45-minute ones as well. And I do like the 15-minute thing. The only thing I don't like about the 15-minute thing is it worries me that people are just going to put out 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to respect the fact that it has to be solid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying we should put one out today, either of us, but like George has been in the game for a long time. He's been working on releasing an album for a long time. I think he scrapped a couple of ideas and stuff. And I don't want to just use him as an example, but like for his 30 minutes, like, because when you download it off his website, it's just giving you in one file. It wasn't until iTunes or Spotify where it broke down all the bits and stuff. So when you first listened to that whole file, I didn't realize it was 30 minutes till it was already over. I was like, fuck, man, I want more. And I think that's a great selling point to get people to start going to shows and stuff. You're not giving them the whole show. When they come see you live, they're going to get an hour. But that 30 minutes was a great teaser if anybody hasn't seen. Like, it's a great way to promote like a comedy show.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, you're going to buy an hour. You're going to get an hour of entertainment, but here's 30 minutes of what I have. I think it's a perfect time and stuff. Even Netflix, Mark Norman released one of my favorites. I couldn't keep I couldn't keep he could not keep my attention for an hour, and that's just today's society. Everything's so like you're on your phone. You have so much information: Facebook, Instagram, Bubble Pop. You know, all these different things to do with your time. That why would you just focus on one thing? You know, it's great. He's solid, but still, an hour is a long time to just sit and stare at something. You know?
I did love Mark Norman's special because there were times when I was like laughing hysterically and yet baffled at how great of a point he was making.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. Like, I couldn't pull that from that situation. Mm-hmm. And so that's always, like, with the Mark Norman, and I respect the shit out of him just because he's one of those comics that you can watch in a 4-minute set, absolutely destroy, or in an hour, like, you know, where he could really talk out his ideas and bring up those points of, like, fuck, I never thought of it like that. So... Yeah. I do see what you're saying, though, man. It is so fucking hard to keep people's attention now, and you know, even for me to pay attention, I can't remember the last time I listened to a full album all the way through, like as far as music and stuff like that.
See, and that's the thing I was thinking about today, because Run the Jewels released their album, 39 minutes. That's all it is 39 minutes.
Not bad.
Still, when you see them live, they'll give you an hour and a half of a show, but an album is 39 minutes. You know, bangers. You know, the whole thing is. From front to back, it was like bangers, and then 39-minute mark, you wanted more. You wanted another track. Is there a bonus track? Is there a hidden track? Is there like a European release type of thing where they had more? Like that's the way an album is supposed to feel. Like you're supposed to be excited. Like I need more. I need more. Rather than like I fucking made it through that whole hour. you know, like it's supposed to leave you wanting more and all that stuff. So I think like shorter comedy albums, shorter sets like that. Even Netflix has like 15 minutes. I think Tim Dillon has a 15-minute stuff, which is perfect. It's a perfect introduction to who that person is, who that comic is, and at the same time, you could dedicate 15 minutes to watch their whole thing, to take in everything that they did for that 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. It's just too much now, man. I mean, live, of course, you got to do like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, you know. But just like audio form, I think you're putting too much on the audience to digest everything that you're giving to them. Yeah.
No, like that's a great point, man. I think it's true because I don't care enough to listen to things a lot of the time, but video makes it a little bit easier. Is that true for you? Does video make it any easier for you?
Yeah, like for comedy and stuff, yeah, it does. But I do a lot of I'm multitask. You know, I listen to a lot of these albums like while I'm working, a lot of podcasts while I'm working on that stuff. So even when I'm doing that, I'm not giving 100%. But like it's just easier if you break it down little by little and all that stuff. And that's what albums are all promotional use from now on. Like nobody's buying them. You're not going to make money off of releasing an album. It's all for promotion to say this is the kind of shit you're going to get when I come to your town.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's how it should. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm all new to all this stuff. I mean, of course, everybody wants the whole dream of an hour special, you know, on Showtime, Netflix, whatever.
Yeah.
But like as far as promotional use, I think short albums, short EPs are going to be very necessary. I don't know, man.
I think a lot of hours feel forced too, though.
Yeah, a lot of filler. There's a lot of filler in that stuff.
Yeah, and like if you had an hour act and you only put out a 30-minute album, like you really have the potential to just release the best stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that Tom Segura, when he filmed his special, he cut his opener, and I don't remember what it was, but like in the beginning when he walks out and he's got like the horns up and everything. Mm-hmm. The show was already over at that point when he came back out like that. So so he did his whole set and then he walked out and then he walked back in, throwing up the horns and shit like that, and then he made an announcement about his T-shirt, the Suwoo T-shirt, and was like, hey, like, you know, this is going to come out this time. Like, thank you guys for coming, blah blah blah, and then it was over. So in the special, he comes out, he does that, and then it cuts to the second bit. And I don't remember what the first bit was, but I remember listening to his podcast, and he was saying that he cut it because the next day he was going up somewhere else in Austin where they weren't recording it, and he didn't give a shit anymore about the hour because he was just going to have fun with it now. And he did his opener, and he started adding taglines to it, and he was like, "Oh fuck, I made this so much better." And I didn't record it. And so he was like, "Well, I'm not going to put that in the special because I'm going to put it in the next one."
Nice.
So like I definitely think editing is a big part of it, and that's one thing that Jay is always telling us is like editing is a big part of it. So having an hour and putting out 30, I think that gives you a great opportunity. Not that neither of us are anywhere near there, but I definitely think that would be a goal of mine, is to be able to say I can do an hour, like a legitimate hour that I love, and then put out a 30 minutes that'll like fucking knock your teeth in. I think that would be the goal.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So what are your short-term goals for comedy when stuff starts getting back to normal? Do you have anything lined up? Are you a planner type of person?
Kind of, but I'm also like I change my mind so much on stuff. I spent the last 3 months trying to convince my wife to move to Dallas, and then right when she was like, maybe, I was like, well, how about Atlanta? And she was like, no. It's no, I just started talking about Dallas being okay. Atlanta is nowhere near in the picture. And I was like, well, fuck. So,
how'd you go from Dallas to Atlanta?
Man, Atlanta is just a comedy scene that I want to be involved in, man. Yeah, I'd fucking kill to visit Atlanta all the time and just do stand-up there. And
nice.
It's just one of those places where they're honest, man. That crowd is dead ass serious on it. If you're not a good comic, they're gonna let you know while you're on stage. And when you and I remember hearing about some shit that happened in Atlanta with them jingling their keys at someone, telling them to get the fuck off stage. The whole crowd jingling their keys at a comic, saying fuck off. And then I remember sitting at the Elbow Room and watching really bad comics, and people just sitting there and putting up with it. And then you go to the actual club's open mic, and it's just well, nobody says anything, and it's not the club owner can't really do it because that's kind of fucked up, I guess.
Yeah.
But if the crowd were to be like, hey, we're not gonna put up with this, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fuck off, dude. You're gonna
toughen up. You gotta get better. That's great. I mean, that sucks. I would hate to invite that, but at the same time, it's gonna fucking make you work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you I guarantee you, people that were in Atlanta and fucking around and doing stupid shit, they ain't there no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're somewhere else, and the comedy scene is just thriving from that because people know that when they go somewhere, there's expectations, and if you don't meet those expectations, well, then you're getting keys jangled at you, bro.
Yeah. So is moving still on the table? Are you still in talks about that? Still considering that?
Yeah, but it's more realistically Dallas is probably the more realistic thing, and if Austin I wouldn't necessarily move to Austin just because the pricing is so crazy with everything, but definitely moving to a city closer to Austin to where okay, I gotta drive 30 minutes to the mic. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? That's a more realistic position that I could see me and my wife being able to do. But yeah, as of right now, I mean the main thing would just be get back into it, take some chances, and try and get in with the club here while I'm here. And if I move, cool. If not, whatever. And just continue to grow, man. I'm tired of talking about my dead dad all the time.
So are you working on anything? Do you have anything you're promoting and stuff? This whole pandemic, we were oh, we should work on some stuff, and I'm lazy, so I need somebody else to put the fire under my ass and stuff. But do you have any ideas or anything that you're working on out of this, or while this pandemic is wrapping up? Man, I wanted to do a cartoon, and you remember and this might be kind of hack at this point, but I don't even care. In the early 2000s, late 90s, when they would take Pablo Francisco bits and they would animate them. Yeah. So I kind of want to do shit like that, but just with stories of me talking on the task cam and telling a story about some stupid shit, and then getting someone to animate that and just putting that up on just Facebook and YouTube, and just kind of being hey, this is a quick little story, and it's got fun colors because
So that's
shorties watching shorties. I think
yeah,
that's what that was.
yeah, exactly, shit like that. So
Yeah.
I'd love to do something like that. Just Justin is the only person I know that does animations, and he self-admittedly sucks balls at it. So it's not that's not the type. That's not the move. That when I think of things, I always think of things in like the highest quality, and that's not realistic. So that's hard for me. But that's where I'm at in that situation.
Well, that's cool, man. This was fun. I'm glad we got to do this. Social media again. How can people get a hold of you? Where you're gonna be at when you're at places?
Instagram, the Joey Smith 9000. And as soon as the Blind Tiger comes back, I'll be there with fucking bells and whistles. And I think that we're working on doing like online off the cuff shows, so that could possibly become a thing. And then other than that, you can also follow me on Instagram under One Bad Comic. So
all right, man, this is fun. We'll see you soon. Later, everybody.
Thanks for having me, man.